Hello, I'm Carol Flavin. This is my OO9 narrow gauge layout, the Harland Light Railway. Very much under construction, although a lot further on than it probably looks at the moment, because it has fully functioning track. Most of the scenery is actually made, but I'm still working on some of it on my workbench over here. Well, mostly hidden from you actually. When I was putting the track in, I needed to put in a number of bridges. And somebody has now, well, more than one person actually, asked me how I made the bridges. So I thought I'd put together this video. It's afterwards, obviously, because I had to put the bridges in so that I could lay the track. On the other hand, I did take photos and there are some rather nice pictures of them completed. So I'm going to show you how I did them and I hope you enjoy them. I'm making a bridge for my OO9 narrow gauge, the Harland Light Railway. So I'm making it using matchsticks and cut down lolly sticks. The reason I'm doing that is because I do want it to look reasonably authentic. I've also got some fencing here, which is a solid fence with a base, which I did buy at York exhibition, but sadly I don't know who I bought it from. I got a whole load, pack full here for £1, and it's laser cut wood, and it has the advantage of being freestanding. So that's going to make the edges. I'm also going to paint it. So I'll just show you quickly how I make these. Cut the ends off the lolly sticks, and I've started to stick the matchsticks on. It's very simple. I've got a rather scratty little bottle here which has Bostik in it. Line of Bostik along the edge of the matchstick before. Matchstick in place, and I'm lining it up in such a way that there is room for me to put the bridge on the outer edge. They don't take long to do. I do tend to get a bit covered in glue, I must admit, but I get covered in glue all the time anyway. So I'm just going to do a quick, speeded up version of me painting the bridge that I've made already. Colours. Now, this is one that I use all the time. But there's 3 different browns, a darker brown, a medium brown and a lighter brown. And I will simply get the texture and the feel of old wood that's been there for quite a long time using my paints and my brushes. I buy the lollipops and the matchsticks from a hobby shop. I actually use the range for these. They're £1 a pack. I painted them with the browns I showed you, and then I put a little bit of antique white on top to weather them. I went backwards and forwards, putting it in place just to measure it, make sure it fits. And actually I was quite happy with it until I finished it, and I'd also painted it up properly, put a train on it and discovered that actually it wasn't quite wide enough. This is because the little OO9 carriages I've got were actually surprisingly wide. Fortunately, the stone supports made from plaster casts were actually wide enough to allow me to start again and put a wider bridge in. This time I used lollipop sticks and made the bridge from those. This is where I was starting to paint them, and this is when I'd finished, completed painting them, weathered them down, added some weeds and some growth on it. Then I was ready to put it in place, and I put it in place using household filler. This has the advantage of filling any gaps, tidying everything up, and then you can just paint it so it no longer shows. This is the bridge in situ, ready for the track to be laid. The right hand side of the layout, on the far side where there's a mountain, I needed to make a curved bridge on the higher level track. This is where the mine is in the mountain underneath it, and also the lower level track comes underneath and through it. I didn't remember to take any photos, so I used a template, cut out a piece of ply in the right size and shape, peeled some mounting card and put it on the top, scored it and painted it to look like wood. I then put a fence round the edge and added weeds. The bridge needed a support in the middle, so I measured and cut a piece of balsa wood from a 3/4 inch or just under 2 centimetre piece of balsa wood and wrapped round it some of the Petite Properties walling sheet. So here you see the curved bridge in situ. On the left hand side of the layout and facing the door, there is an area where there is a crashing waterfall coming down from a mountain with a castle on the top, through a bit of a gorge, and it needed to go underneath a bridge. I went to my same source on eBay and bought a plaster cast bridge. Now, as soon as I put it in situ, it was obvious it wasn't actually quite tall enough. So I raised it up on some pieces of wood. These are actually Jenga blocks that I had kicking around, painted them and put them in place using my usual thing, household filler. Once it was done, I painted it and I weathered it and I made it look as if it belonged with the other areas of scenery that I had been making. As a finishing touch, I thought I'd show you a few other little bridges, like some footbridges that I've made. This one is a Will's kit, a Victorian bridge that I have made to go across from where the castle is to another cliff on the other side of where the layout goes. In the background, you can also see a little footbridge that is over part of the crashing waterfalls. I'm hoping that you found this video useful or informative or even interesting. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like it, share it, give it a thumbs up, write a comment, because that way I know that you're watching them and it's worth my while continuing to make these. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing other videos, particularly about the viaduct, which you may or may not be able to see just in the background here, and show you how I made that as well. I hope you find all of this interesting. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.